Maybe it's a good starting point to point out that there is no point to anything I'm saying, because I'm full of shit. And I can only talk from that shit. So there's only bullshit, but bullshit is real. I think the lie, but I feel the truth, right? When I think it and it makes sense, it's like, yeah, this is the truth, and I want to say it, but I can't fucking say it. And I like to cuss, so if that is a problem, it will probably lead to the solution. And I gotta stop the vagueness, because it's not helping anyone. Alright. Forget whatever is written behind me. It's not relevant right now. We'll get to that someday, someplace, sometime. The important thing for me is to take it slow. Because I'm new at this, and I'm coming at it in a new way. So taking it slow and being articulate is the best thing I can do for anyone. Now this will lead to the situation where it can get uncomfortable for both you and me, for all of us. Because we're both used to having it explained rapidly, right? We're used to someone telling us what it's like. And if I have any realization to share, that is the mistake. That is what leads to the frustration and the anger and the arrogance. So we've got to start slow. Because I need to think, I guess, or feel, and you need to have it sink in. So you need to listen and then process. And we have no common ground at all yet. We need to infuse that ground for it to be common, right? We need to have words that we can understand what they mean for each other. I don't know you, you don't know me. But in a way we do know each other. We know how we work. But we don't know the specifics, and that's a problem. But it will also lead to the solution if you're interested. If you want to solve the problem, you will. So we got to get to know each other. We have to build somewhere something so we can stand on it and pretend like we know what we mean. And have it make a point, even though points can't be made and the whole thing is pointless. But that is really the only way it can work, and so it is the point. But I have to go slow. For myself, probably even more than for you. Because if I don't go slow, I start rushing. And if I start rushing, I'm just doing it for the fix. Because the fix gives me a rush. And if I'm rushing, I'm selling you short. I'm not trying to help you or explain things to you. I'm trying to impress you. And if I'm impressing you, then you have to be depressed to find your balance again. And I don't want you to be depressed, at least not unnecessarily. The impression and the depression is needed, of course. There's no other way. But I want to do this in a way that is optimal for as far as that can be achieved. And to me, optimal means most in line with the intention. And the intention is to convey some of the wonder that I have discovered, which has turned out to be quite useful in navigating the negation, in navigating this thing, this experience. You see, it turns out for me that there's a world beyond what I thought was available. And it seems to me, from my experience and what I see and when I talk with other people, that it's something that's available for them too. And not just available as in they can have it availed to them, but more in the sense that they haven't realized it's available at all. And in that way it's available. It's something that they can still discover, is to be discovered. I mean, I'm sorry for this kind of talk. I'm trying to keep it simple and straightforward, but the camera's making me self-aware, more self-aware. Self-aware in a bad way. So I have to get used to that. I have to see through it. And I think the best way to do it is to stumble through it. So I don't take it too seriously. One day I will look up how the word serious and the word seriously relate to each other, and when one is used and not the other, because I really don't know. Really and real, is it a substitute? If I say really, is it seriously? And if I say real, it's serious? I think there's something there. Maybe we just figured it out. Maybe I should talk about the fact that you're an autodidact. Not next to anything else, but it's the only thing you are, in the sense that, because I want to talk about general and specific, and I think these two things are very nicely related. You see, I'm hesitant to make any products at all. And when I say product, I mean to create an output that could serve a function for another. And it's because in this world we have too many products. We have too many things that are supposedly there to serve another, but really they are there to serve the creator of the product. You see, we're all confused. And that's perfectly natural, because it's the essence of what's going on. It's confusion, right? If there's only clarity, there's nothing going on, nothing to see. But if you confuse the clarity, now there's something going on. Now there's something to see, something to not see, something to understand, something to not understand, something to be true, something to be false. Do you understand? Confusion creates the duality, which creates relativity, which creates perspective, which creates morality, right? And there's inspiration and there's confusion. And they contrast, but they're one thing. Meaning, inspiration will cause confusion, and confusion will cause inspiration. And it works internally with you, with the two things you are, so to say, and it works externally with you and the other. So if I would like to inspire you, I have to confuse you. Because if you think you know, there's no way you'll wonder. And if I pretend like I know, I'm just going to confuse you. Which will get you inspired, but if we don't understand the process, then we're just going to stumble around it. And there's a chance we'll move backward way more than we'll move forward. So there are some disclaimers to be made before we can really start off. And I think probably the most important two, I don't know, I'm just going to start talking and see what comes out. But it's a general versus specific, And it's the question versus the answer. Now when I say the general versus the specific is that I cannot talk to you specifically. I do not know where you are. I do not know where you think you are. I do not know what you think or know or feel. Do you understand? I can talk to you, but I can only talk at you. I cannot talk with you. We cannot communicate. This is difficult or even impossible in reality or in the interface of face to face, but in this way it is certainly impossible. And in this world we've made it so that it's mostly dysfunctional. It works against the thing we're trying to achieve. The cool thing is that working against something is actually working in favor of it, but it's on a different level, so it takes more time. You're taking the long way home. So, what is very important for you to see is that whatever I say is just bullshit. It's just theory. It's just nonsense. It means nothing for you, right? And the best thing that it can do is to inspire you about the location of a loose thread that you need to pull. So the best thing that I could do is to hint at something. And that hint could confuse you, and that confusion could inspire you to start pulling at that thread within yourself. Not the thread I said was there, but first you go looking if there's a thread at all. And maybe you find it. And if you find it, then maybe you start pulling. And once you start pulling the thing, things start to unravel. And that unraveling creates the new material for the new weaving. Alright? Now people have a problem accepting that. They reject the unraveling because if it unravels, then what do they have? Well, they have a new way to create. They have a new perspective. They have a new insight. They have something new, some new matter to create something that matters. And to matter is just giving you the vibration, good vibration that something is mattering. So I can talk on in general, and for your understanding, for me, videos, books, blogs, whatever is externalized as an impersonal object and then consumed through a subject is the most dangerous thing of all, if not done with a user manual on how to destroy the thing after you've read it, listened to it, or whatever. Right, there's this movie called Burn After Reading or something, I think, or it's a book, I don't know. But it should be on the back cover of every book. This book will be a problem unless you burn it after reading. If the book causes you to think, I know something you don't, you've just confirmed that situation to last. Now you think I know something and you don't. And of course it will get you there. It will lead to frustration, and frustration will lead to anger, which will be, what is anger? Frustration. It will lead to arrogance. And the arrogance will lead to assumptions. And that assumptions will be examined, and those examinations will lead to another assumption or a solution of an assumption. Do you understand? I don't know. So it's important you realize that I can only talk bullshit for you. The only true student master relationship is the one that's done in person. Do you understand? It's the only way it will work the best. And it will not work at all, okay? It's the apprentice that makes himself the master, not the master that makes the apprentice a master. That's not how it works, because you're the autodidact. And you cannot be taught. You can only teach yourself. So you are always student and teacher, always teacher and student. And that's what I mean with questions and answers. If you come here to search for answers, you're doing it the wrong way around. Your approach is the approach of frustration. It's the approach of confusion. But of course, that's what we do with ourselves, and that's what the culture does with us. We confuse ourselves and each other so we don't have to look at what's going on. And that's fine. But realizing my talk is nonsense and just general drivel, and then taking it within to search for yourself what for you is the matter, that is the way it should work. And so whatever I say should not be perceived as an answer at all. The best thing I can do is give you a question, is to make you wonder, not to make you see. Right? And seeing and wondering and all these words, they're very confusing. And like I said before, we don't have common ground. We don't have a shared meaning. So when I say see, maybe you say, well, that to me is looking, or it's perceiving. I don't know. And what is looking and what is perceiving? It's all fucking bullshit. Right? It's whatever you say it is. But it's also whatever I say it is. So where does it leave us? Nowhere is where it leaves us. Now here, nowhere. But you're not really here now. You're there then. And for you that's now here, but then I'm there then, right? And that's why this won't work until you realize that it doesn't work. And that is the only chance it might work. If you see through it. And that way maybe it can be a wonderful thing. If I can wonder about a thing and take you along on that wondering and get us lost, then we have incentive to get found again. And we do that by wondering how to get back. And then we discover how we do. And once we do, we have something to get lost about again. And in that way, we can slowly start to understand that there's really nothing to understand. That is just wandering. And the lost and found business is just bullshit. But it's real. So it's real bullshit. So there's a process to this. It's not a thing. It's not a fix. Fixes lead to addictions for fixes. And that's never going to work out for you. Well, it will eventually, but not. Maybe you don't have the time, right? The addict will get there if the body will continue to keep going. And there's your friction. There's your situation of challenge. But I see a process or a context, an approach, a way things function, and the intention of the functioning. And that creates this duality which entails meaning, right? The right thing to say, the wrong thing to say, the helpful thing to say, the unhelpful thing to say. And to align with your intention and act accordingly is to do this optimally. But the optimally is not a guarantee for the outcome. The outcome, it doesn't exist. It's just a pretend thing. But we are pretend things too, so outcomes are very useful. They inspire us again. They're an output which becomes the new input. So that's what it is. There's the theory, the meaning through which that theory will be put, which will create a conclusion. And this conclusion, it does something for us and then inspires us to do it again. And to look back at the general versus the specific, all I have for you is input, right? I can even hint at meaning, but it's meaningless because you are the one who decides the meaning for you. So all I am is some sort of input. There's no conclusion here. Even when I conclude something for like myself while you see the recording of it, it's not a real conclusion. It's like the Hitchhiker's Galaxy, what is it? The Hitchhiker thing. The meaning of life is 42, right? Maybe it's correct, right? Maybe if you would do the math, you would end up at 42 too. But the 42 is useless for everyone because it doesn't mean anything. And I would even go so far as to say it doesn't even mean anything to you once you've reached that conclusion. It's done. 42 is now meaningless because you've made it the meaning. And the moment it's the meaning, it's nothing. Because if 42 is everything, then 42 is nothing. So if I'm in an arrogant mood, or in a frustrated mood, or in a joyful mood, or in a mood of humility, I might arrive at something and say, well, that's the point. But it's not. It's not for me, it's not for you. It's just a momentarily halting to see what we've got. Right? I'm creating the thing. I'm how do you say this? I'm influencing the clay to make a thing. But my life is influencing the clay to make a thing. And whatever I make, it cannot stay there. I cannot say, okay, well, this is it, I'm done. Walking away, thanks. Right? I could. I need a rope or a gun or a high building, right? I could make it stop. I could say, this is the thing. I'm done now. But if I don't do that, then I have to wait until it is done. Right? Because it is doing it. And I'm influencing the clay. But the claying itself, it happens. It's going on. And you can become a good clayer. Is that a word? And you can see through this process too, which will help you deal with expectations, disappointments. Do you understand? You're trying to make something and you will never get there. But that's okay if you know. Even though knowing is the end of it, end of knowing it. Smart people are really dumb. They're smart in the thing they made, but they're dumb in the making it, right? If you think you're done, you are really done, but not in a good way. Do you understand? You stop doing, and that means death. So to know is the end of life, which makes it really stupid to know anything. But if you feel stupid, you want to feel smart, and so that creates the propulsion to know something. And again, if you see through this, it's perfectly fine, it's perfectly normal, it's perfectly perfect. Even though perfection is just a word. And for this time and this planet and this culture, that is the thing we need to battle. So I will be somewhat one-sided in this, right? I need to rebalance the unbalance. And so you put the emphasis on the thing that has not enough emphasis. But don't confuse the emphasis with the whole thing, right? Right? We have this world where it's all about money and success, right? And we've done this for a while, and now the culture's changing. Saying, no. It's all about people. Right? And now it's all about people. And everybody feels good because we finally figured out that it's all about people. We're all people. People are so important. which is just saying I'm important, and I'm involving you with my. I'm making you an accomplice in this statement. What, are you going to deny people are not important? Are you going to deny me? But more importantly, are you going to deny yourself? Because that's just unacceptable. But people are important only when people are not important. It's important to emphasize the people when they are underemphasized. But if it's all about the people, then we're not doing anything, right? And I'm not saying something needs to be done, but I'm also not saying nothing needs to be done. I'm saying it's a game. And if the emphasis in the game is just on the outcome, then you need to look at the fucking functioning of it and the process. But if the fucking emphasis is just on the process, then what the fuck about the outcome? You can't choose one over the other because the one doesn't exist without the other. And I need to stop talking pretty soon because I've limited myself to 30 minutes. Because if I don't, I'm going to I'm never going to stop. I'm going to wait till the battery runs out. And if I keep talking, then I can't make a point. And if it's not making a point, then there is no point. It's pointless. And then what's the fucking point? So I need to narrow this. So I know I've been going for almost 30 minutes, but I had some minutes starting up because I was really unsure if I were able to get into any flow where I would see past myself, see past the outcome of this video, or see past the need to make an impression, so to say. Because the only thing I have to offer for you and for myself is openness. And it's the only thing I strive for. Honesty is my weapon, vulnerability, openness. It's the only thing I have and the only thing I desire. To get out the way. Because getting in the way, it happens. But getting out of the way, that's the trick. The Jedi mind trick. You get yourself out of the way when that's really not possible. And that is the essence of the thing. And the essence is bullshit. Because if it's the essence, then it's not the essence at all. So, as I now start rambling, it's a good time to wrap up. And leave you with this as a good presentation of what you can expect in videos from me. I think I did well for the first time. And not well because you think it's well or because I said what I needed to say, but well as in it's a good representation for now. And maybe this will evolve. Of course this will evolve. It always does. It's the evolution revolution. So if this is of any help, or if it's not, I wonder what you think, really I do. And I would appreciate any feedback. Or questions, I appreciate questions too. So thank you for spending your time on this. I hope it was a good trade. See ya.